What's up, guys? For this week's daily dose of propaganda, legalized marijuana sends more kids to the hospital in Colorado. More children are ending up in the emergency room and needing other treatment for marijuana exposure in Colorado since the state legalized pot for recreational use, a new study finds. So it goes on to say that researchers at the University of Colorado and Aurora did a study, and this is basically what they found. The average rate of marijuana-related visits to the Children's Hospital increased from 1.2 per 100,000 in the population 2 years before legalization, and up to 2.3 per 100,000 2 years after the law changed. So basically the numbers doubled before and after legalization. But here's where the motherfucking lies come in. The senior author of the study said, "We expected a slight increase in marijuana exposures in young children after legalization, but the increase that we saw was much more dramatic, 5-fold. So here we go again with the fucking lies, as they said a paragraph or two before that it went from, 1.2 to 2.3, so it wasn't even exactly doubled, it's almost doubled, and now they're saying 5-fold further down. But let's continue. The exposures can make kids really, really sick, she said. The majority of children had symptoms like sleepiness and trouble with balance, which usually lasts about 6 to 24 hours, but she said about 20% of those children needed to be admitted to the hospital. And 15% of those cases were so severe that they ended up in the intensive care unit. For fucking weed. Then she goes on to try to justify her bullshit by saying, marijuana exposures in young children have resulted in a respiratory compromise, requiring the use of a ventilator and an intensive care unit admission in a handful of cases. So what's happening is more kids are getting into weed now because it's legal. And because it's legal, people are actually taking their fucking kids to the hospital when this happens instead of hiding because they're concerned about prosecution and going to fucking prison for a plant. Okay, so we saw before that they said it went from, I think 1.2 to 2.3, which wasn't even double, and then they say 5-fold a paragraph later. And then they go on to say, oh, these kids have symptoms like sleepiness or, trouble with balance. Sleepiness, that's called being fucking high. You get tired, you get relaxed. Like, it's, I don't understand how they're taking in all this money and they're still continuing the anti-cannabis propaganda. They're still shoveling all this fucking drug shit down our throat, needing to go into intensive care. It's fucking ridiculous, okay? It's this simple. The numbers have increased because legalization has occurred. Therefore, more people are using, okay? Why is that not being addressed here? Legalization means more people using, means more kids getting into marijuana. More so, legalization means when kids get into marijuana, more people are gonna go to the fucking hospital because they don't have to go to fucking jail. Some people's kids get into marijuana a couple years ago and they just wait it out, give them some fucking water, tell them to go to sleep, because that's all the fuck they need to do in the first place. That's really all I have to say about this shit, man. The propaganda is just fucking ridiculous, and it's very apparent that it's not going to stop anytime soon. So educate yourself and use critical thinking skills and don't believe this bullshit. We out. Problems away.